Last in the Is It Safe series, I want to just end this series by giving you a crash course on relevant info that you need to know as a client, a potential client in Oregon's psilocybin services program. This is regulated by Oregon Health Authority. So this program was voted into existence by Oregonians not as a recreational experience or as dispensaries, but actually to address mental health specifically in Oregon. And that is why it is regulated by Oregon Health Authority and not OLCC, which regulates alcohol and cannabis. An interesting note, however, is that we are finding about 70% of our clients are traveling to us from out of state or even out of the country. But if you do want to read more about the law, you can find it under ORS 475A. You can just Google that, or you can, that's the main statute, or OAR 333.333 is the full administrative rule of psilocybin services in Oregon, and you can Google either of those and the pages will pop up right at the top so you can read through those. Now, Oregon has very specific regulations on how psilocybin can be administered and to whom. There are a few circumstances in which Oregon has made it illegal to serve certain individuals. And we've covered this already in the safety and contraindications, but just to recap, in case you're skipping around, here's those circumstances. There's 4 things. Number 1, anyone under the age of 21. Number 2, anyone who has a personal history of any form of psychosis, whether diagnosed or not. Number 3, anyone who is having current, and I define this as active, thoughts or plans to harm themselves or someone else. And number 4, anyone who has taken any form or dosage of lithium within 30 days. Now, of course, going off of lithium for more than 30 days will make someone eligible. And this is by the time that you have your administration session, right? Because lithium and psilocybin don't interact super well. So that's why we want to ensure that you're off lithium for 30 days before you take psilocybin. In Oregon, you do not need a diagnosis, you don't need a referral from a doctor or a therapist or anything else to access psilocybin services. If you qualify, given the 4 criteria above, and it's also safe for you, given what I talked about in our safety and contraindications, you can move forward, right? This is a decision that we want to empower you to make for yourself. So the program in Oregon is really open to any adult who is not ineligible per the criteria that we've already discussed. So to become a psilocybin service client in Oregon, you have to fill out a series of standardized intake forms, and then you also have to have one preparation, we also call them planning sessions, with a licensed facilitator to discuss the contents of those forms. And there are quite a few things that are discussed in the forms. It's pretty comprehensive, everything from your safety and support planning to informed consent and client bill of rights. There's lots of things that go into that. Another thing that you need to know, and again, I covered this earlier, you have to purchase and consume the psilocybin on site at a licensed service center, and you must stay a preset amount of time that's based on the dose amount you take. And of course, this is a floor, not a ceiling, right? It's a minimum amount of time. So the facilitator must agree that it is safe to conclude your administration session before you can be released. I mean, of course, we can't physically prevent someone from leaving. We're not going to tie anyone down. But if a client leaves and we believe it's not safe for them to leave, we are obligated to contact emergency services and the client's emergency contact. And we also have to notify Oregon Health Authority. The maximum amount of time required for someone to stay is 6 hours. That's based on a dosage of 35 milligrams to 50 milligrams. But many sessions have a minimum session duration of 4 to 5 hours. So as I mentioned, this is a floor, not a ceiling, and clients are often, they often stay later. They're welcome to stay longer. When you do leave, you're not allowed to operate a motor vehicle directly following your session. So the options for transportation back to your lodging afterwards would be like Uber or Lyft, or having a friend or family member pick you up, or many of our out-of-town clients actually stay at lodging that's close enough to walk back to. Now, facilitators also must offer you integration resources afterwards, and we recommend at least one integration support session one-on-one over Zoom with your facilitator after your administration session. But of course, this is kind of up to each client's choice and individual needs. Some people might already be working with a psychedelic-friendly therapist and they kind of get their integration there, and then other people might want ongoing integration with our team. So we really personalize the integration plan. There are a lot of rules that are around client data confidentiality. As I mentioned, a Bill of Rights, informed consent, product information, and all these other policies. And all of these protect client safety and client privacy. Psilocybin mushrooms that are sold under Oregon's license program also must be grown through a OHA licensed grower. We can't just purchase mushrooms from whoever, right? It has to be through someone who is licensed to do so through Oregon Health Authority. And every single harvest that this person produces has to be tested at a licensed test facility, right? For purity and potency. And this is true for every single harvest. In addition to this, there is certain packaging requirements, right? There has to be certain things on the label with the psilocybin packages. So the important thing to know about Oregon's program is that every single step of the program is highly regulated, from the growers to the testers to the service centers to the facilitators. And I would probably say that 50%, maybe, I'm just guessing here, of all the rules are around facilitators, because the facilitator is the person who is in a private one-on-one room with the client, who is responsible to a certain degree for that client's safety. And facilitators really have a strong, a heavy responsibility, right? And our facilitators, facilitating is no joke sometimes. Sometimes it's very, very easy. Other times they're like literally putting their safety on the line for our clients, right? So it's not an easy job. These sessions are often, 5 to 6 hours, but they will be on site from 9 to 5 sometimes. So it's like an 8-hour straight through day with no breaks, really. They're lucky if they can grab a pastry and head back to their room, quick little 2-minute break or a 2-minute potty break or whatever. So it's a little bit of a marathon. Facilitators are kind of a special breed of human being. I love my facilitators so much. And you should also know that facilitators have to go through very comprehensive training. Most of these training programs to get licensure cost upwards of $10,000 or more. A lot of them take anywhere from 4 months to a year or more. So it's almost like a mini master's program, right? And then the cost of licensure for facilitators is $2,000 per year as well. So being a facilitator, given the fact that they are the ones who are interacting with the client so much, there's a lot of regulations around what facilitators can and can't do, what's within their scope of practice, what's not, etc. So anyways, I hope that this has been a good, at least crash course. I am not going to go through all 125 pages of rule, although I feel like I have them almost memorized by this point. But those are the things that really are going to impact you the most as a client. So I just wanted you to understand a little bit about how Oregon's programs work.